What's up everybody, welcome back. So we're going to continue to try out more interesting teams in the Kanto Cup, and in this video I'm going to be trying out Parasect with Solar Beam along with Electrode with Hyper Beam. Now the reason I'm running Solar Beam on Parasect and Hyper Beam on Electrode is to provide that one-shot potential towards endgame when shields are down, and it can also catch a lot of people off guard. And overall this team is actually pretty solid because Alolan Muk is one of the best safe switches and also probably one of the best Pokemon in the Kanto Cup because it does really well against the top threats in the meta like Alolan Marowak, Hypno, etc. Right? So anyways, let's just move on to the first battle here. We have Electrode into a Snorlax, a pretty neutral matchup this. So at this point, yeah, I'm just going to try and build up a lot of extra energy here. And I'm not going to throw right away because I'm going to try and sneak a Volt Switch through, and luckily we were able to do it, right? I was able to sneak the Volt Switch through when they were trying to get off their Body Slam here. Now that's going to be crucial in this matchup. So, and now they make a switch into their Shadow Victory Bell, and I was slightly slow to switch out. I'm going to switch into my Alolan Muk here. Now, this team has double counters to a Shadow Victory Bell because Parasect does really well against Victory Bell as well, because it double resists grass moves because of the grass bug typing. But obviously Alolan Muk is probably the more reliable counter. So I'm just going to go straight for the Dark Pulse here. And this is definitely going to KO the Shadow Victory Bell if it goes unshielded. And it does get the shield. And even though Razor Leaf is resisted, you can see it's just it still does so much damage, right? Because again, Shadow Victory Bell is just so OP in spite of the Razor Leaf nerf. So at this point, I'm going to have to come in with my Parasect here. I'm going to try and get to this Cross Poison as soon as possible. Of course, with Fury Cutter, Parasect is going to be able to generate energy very quickly. And Cross Poison is going to, yeah, it does give the shield, which is fine. And at this point, because Parasect is pretty much my last Pokemon, I'm definitely going to shield this, even though it's probably just a Leaf Blade or something. But they actually go for Acid Spray, which is unfortunate because now at this point, our defense has been lowered. But they're going to come in with their Hypno right now. So I'm immediately going to switch into my Electrode and go straight for the Hyper Beam, right? Luckily, we have stored energy on Electrode. So I'm just going to go straight for the Hyper Beam right now. It's going to do massive neutral damage against Hypno. And also, we've cleared the debuffs on Parasect, right? So at this point, I'm just going to go for the Cross Poison once again here. And I'm hoping that I can farm it down with Fury Cutter. Yeah, Cross Poison does okay damage. And luckily, I'm able to farm it down as well. And they still have a Snorlax in the back, and I'm really hoping that I can get to a Solar Beam here. It's going to be extremely close. They are trying to farm us down with Lick, but luckily I'm able to get to a Solar Beam just in time. Let's see how much Solar Beam does to a Snorlax, right? And it just one-shots the Snorlax there. That did almost one-shot the Snorlax from pretty much full health. Did about 80 to 90% of its health, which is pretty ridiculous. And also Parasect with Solar Beam also gets stab on it because of its partial grass typing. And also, I think Parasect is a pretty decent attack stat as well, right? So yeah, pretty exciting start to the set, but yeah, this team definitely has a few weaknesses, and yeah, as you'll see here. But moving into the second battle here, we have Electrode into a Lapras here. Pretty positive matchup. It's a good thing we catch it on the lead. They make a switch into their Alolan Muk, and at this point, I'm going to try and catch the Dark Pulse on my Alolan Muk here. So yeah, this is just going to be a Dark Pulse, which is obviously resisted because of the Dark typing. And at this point, yeah, I'm going to probably go for the two back-to-back Dark Pulses at this point because two Dark Pulses would KO this Alolan Muk from this range. Even though Sludge Wave is probably more energy efficient in this matchup, from this health range, I feel like two Dark Pulses would be better, as you can see there. And Charge Bomb coming through, don't really have to shield anything because everything is resisted. And it is a Sludge Wave there that does quite a bit of resisted damage. And at this point, I'm really hoping I can get to a Dark Pulse before they can get to their Dark Pulse. And luckily, I'm able to get it just in time here. Now, this is going to do enough resisted damage to take out the opposing Alolan Muk. And it does take it out, which is fantastic because at this point, we maintain switch advantage. And now I can line up my Electrode against their Lapras, right? So I'm going to come in with my Electrode here and go straight for the discharge right now. This is going to put massive shield pressure onto this Lapras. Let's see what they decide to do here. And they do shield that, which is fine. And then I'm just going to build up to another discharge, and I'm probably going to shield this. Yeah, I'm definitely going to shield this because I don't want my Parasect to go up against this Lapras because we're going to take so much damage from those ice shots. And now they make a switch in their Hypno, immediately going to go into my Parasect here. Now this is a pretty positive matchup because Fury Cutter is doing super effective damage. But this is where I make a key mistake, right? I was like hoping even if it's Ice Punch, we can survive it. But ends up being a Fire Punch. Now Parasect is double weak to fire because of the bug grass typing, and they pretty much one-shots it right there. And yeah, it's pretty much GG's at this point because they're taking so much damage from Confusion. And there's too much for Electrode to do right now, right? They still have an almost full health Lapras in the back. And yeah, there's no way that I'm going to be able to pull it off here. So I'm going to shield this up. Probably going to be a Fire Punch, but it's fine. I'm going to have to overfarm quite a bit here. And again, Hypno is extremely tanky, right? So one discharge is not going to KO, but I'm hoping that I can farm it down after landing this discharge and hopefully land a discharge onto this Lapras. So we do farm it down. Hopefully I can farm it down, but unfortunately we go down to confusion there. So probably like one Volt Switch away from a discharge, which I could have thrown at the Lapras, and that probably would have KO'd, but definitely a bit of a misplay from my part, not shielding up the Fire Punch, right? So moving into the third battle here, we have Electrode into an Alolan Ninetales. It's a Charm Alolan Ninetales, which is not great, but it's okay because they're not going to be able to generate energy that quickly. They come in with their Snorlax here. I'm going to go straight for the Hyper Beam right now because typically most Snorlaxes don't shield. But yeah, as you can see, that just does so much damage there. That is fantastic. So I'm going to come in with my Alolan Muk here. And this is where I make a bit of a mistake. Honestly, I should have thrown the Dark Pearls right away there. I'm not sure why I overfarmed, because it's not going to be able to farm down a Snorlax with Snarl, right? As you can see, I mean, Snorlax is extremely tanky, and of course, Snarl is not going to do enough damage. And as you can see, I mean, I overfarmed once again there, and Superpower almost takes out my Alolan Muk, and unfortunately, I'm forced to throw right now. So I should have come out of this matchup with a lot of health, and which, if I had done, then I could have probably threatened the Alolan Ninetales with Sludge Wave, right? But at this point, it's not looking good right now because, again, I'm going to have to come in with my Electrode here. And then I'm going to have to shield this up. But then again, Charm is doing so much damage right now, right? So I'm just going to shield this up. And then let's see what they come in with. And they have a Weezing in the back. So this is where it gets very, very difficult, because Weezing is a complete wall to Parasect, because everything Parasect has is resisted by Weezing because of that poison typing. And my only win condition here is for them to somehow let one of these discharges go through, because it's going to do massive neutral damage. To a point where I can probably farm it down with Fury Cutter, right? But unfortunately, they double shield, and it's pretty much GG's at this point because there's not a lot Parasect can do right now. I'm going to have to shield this up. This Weezing has so much energy. They go for the Sludge Bomb right now, and they're probably close to another Sludge Bomb, and yeah, they are. And obviously, Sludge Bomb is going to be super effective because of the grass typing in this matchup, and pretty much one-shots the Parasect there, near one-shots it, and it's pretty much, I mean, yeah, my Electrode has no health and energy, so yeah, I decided to back out there. So pretty tough start to the set. We are 1-2 in the set right now. Definitely a couple of misplays on my part in both those battles, but we definitely make a comeback and pull some nice wins here. So moving into the fourth battle here, we have Electrode into a Mew. Yeah, kind of a neutral matchup this. Obviously, I mean, I don't have to watch out for anything that could probably one-shot the Electrode, because obviously Wild Charge would be resisted, and most Mews tend to run Wild Charge. So I'm just going to go straight for the Discharge right now. Obviously, Foul Play would probably help in this matchup because that would be super effective, but it's okay. Discharge is still going to put massive shield pressure onto this Mew. And I'm going to let this one go through. It is a Surf, does quite a bit of neutral damage there. And now they make a switch into their Wigglytuff. Immediately going to go into my Alolan Muk. But this team doesn't have a hard response to a Charmer. Alolan Muk is a decent matchup against it. I'm just going to go straight for the Sludge Wave right now. There's no point baiting with Dark Pearls because it only takes one extra Snarl to get to a Sludge Wave, and they let that go through as well, right? That just one-shots the Wigglytuff, which puts us so far ahead in the game right now. And they come back with their Mew, which tells me that they probably have something else in the back which could also be weak to Alolan Muk. So I'm gonna shield this up, and then once again I make the mistake of over farming here, right? I'm not sure why I didn't click the Dark Pearls right away. Honestly, I should have done that. And if I had done that in the previous games, then I probably would have had a better result in this set. But anyways, I'm just going to go for the Dark Pearls here. We're still ahead in this game right now. And Dark Pearls is probably going to KO the Mew from this range. But it does get the shield, which is okay. And yeah, they're going to be able to farm down, which is unfortunate. But I know we have loaded energy on Electrode, right? Luckily, we have a Thunder stored on Electrode. I'm going to go straight for the Thunder here and get rid of this Mew as soon as possible. And let's see what they have in the back. They have an Alolan Ninetales in the back. And luckily, it's a Charm Alolan Ninetales. So it's going to take them longer to get to their charge moves. And I'm just going to go straight for the Solar Beam right now. Obviously, Cross Poison is super effective. But it doesn't have Stab, and it's also not a great move. So it's not going to do that much damage. So might as well go for the Solar Beam here. And let's see how much Solar Beam does to an Alolan Ninetales, right? And yeah, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. It pretty much one-shots their hashtag get beamed. And yeah, it's always satisfying to close out games with Solar Beam there. So anyways, 2-2 in the set right now. As you can see, I mean, Parasect towards endgame, as long as you don't run into a Fire type or a Poison type in the back, Solar Beam can pretty much near one-shot most things, right? So anyways, final battle, we have Electrode into a Hypno here. Once again, a pretty neutral matchup. I'm hoping they're running Thunder Punch as one of their punches here. They come in with their Alolan Muk, so I'm just going to go straight for the Hyper Beam right now. And let's see if this gets the shield from the Alolan Muk. Does get the shield. And at this point, I don't really have to switch because I have double counters to a Hypno in the back. Especially I have an Alolan Muk in the back, so there's no reason for me to switch. But at this point, I'm going to try and maintain switch advantage because I want to line up my Alolan Muk against their Hypno, right? And I'm just going to go straight for the Discharge right now. Honestly, should have probably gone for Discharge on the first attempt. But I was hoping they would let the Hyper Beam go through. But I'm just going to try and build up to another Discharge here. And fortunately, we're able to sneak another Volt Switch through, which is really crucial. And I'm going to shield this up, and then I'm going to try and get off this discharge as soon as possible. Definitely not going to overfarm here. Unfortunately, they sneak a Snarl through as well, which is not great. But of course, this discharge is definitely going to KO. And we have switch advantage right now. They come in with their Alolan Muk, Alolan Marowak, I should say. And I'm able to get to a discharge, but they make a really nice switch onto their Hypno to catch the discharge. Now, this is fine. At this point, I'm actually going to switch into my Parasect here because I don't want my Parasect to get locked in against their Alolan Marowak because we still have an Alolan Muk in the back, which can pretty much deal with both Hypno and Alolan Marowak, right? Fire Punch does come through, near one-shots with the Parasect there, but luckily I'm able to get to a Cross Poison just in time. Now this Cross Poison is going to put this Hypno into Snarl farm down range, right, which is really crucial. So Parasect does go down, and we still have Electrode in the back for a potential sack swap later if need be. So I'm going to come in with my Alolan Muk here and try and farm this Hypno down. And charge move coming through, it's okay, I'm going to let this go through. I mean, we have no more shields, so I have no choice anyways. I'm going to try and Snarl farm it down. They come in with their Alolan Marowak, and I'm really hoping this is just a Bone Club. Hopefully it's not a Fire Blast because I had no track of how much energy they had. And I'm just going to try and go for this Dark Pulse as soon as possible before another Bone Club can come through. This is obviously going to be doing massive super effective damage because of the Ghost typing. And one Snarl should take it out. And I'm hoping that I can farm this Hypno down with Snarl there, right? And luckily we're able to do it and take the win there. So extremely close. A lot of team comps, a lot of people like to run cores with Hypno and Alolan Marowak, in which case Alolan Muk can be an absolute core breaker, right? And of course, I feel like Electrode is one of the most underrated picks in the meta, and Parasect can catch a lot of people off guard, right? Not a lot of people expect Parasect to run Solar Beam. I think even though X Scissor and Cross Poison is probably the more recommended moveset, I definitely like to run Solar Beam just for that one-shot closing potential there, right? So anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.